Hello, Mixed Nutcases and Dog Days of Podcasting listeners. This is Nuchas, and this is my Dog Days of Podcasting episode for the 25th, for yesterday. Yesterday was such a jam-packed day that by the time I went to bed, I realized I didn't record my podcast, and I'm not doing it now. And I actually went to bed just before midnight, but before midnight, maybe like 11:30. Normally, I don't go to bed till midnight because I'm just one of those people. My circadian rhythm's like, no, I want to be awake. My brain is working now. My brain doesn't work so well in the morning. So when my brain is working, I kind of want to stay up. But we had such a full day. Like, I was actually exhausted. And my brain will adapt to whatever time zone I am in. Like, it just knows. It knows where the sun is, I think. So that's a big part of it. All right, so Saturday, I landed around 10:30. My plane was a little bit delayed, but I was the first one out of customs. I'll count that as a success because I had no check bags and I did not have children. And a lot of the other people had children or they had check bags because they were coming from Tokyo. I was just coming from the States. I was only gone a few days. I had no check bags. So Tech picked me up and we headed home. But while I was gone, my bike came in and he had already put my pedals on because I use those pedals where my boots will clip in. And so when we got home, we adjusted my seat to my height. I put on some pants, we adjusted my seat, and then went and took a bike ride. Oh my gosh, the bike. It's like a game changer. That first, kick, I felt it right away. Now, normally on my road bike, I would clip in one foot, I would start and pedal, and then I would have to use the other foot without being clipped in to kind of pedal a little bit just to get up to speed so I was stable enough that I could clip in my second pedal. On this bike, you do one kick and you're at enough speed to get your second pedal in or your second foot in. Or clip in, whatever it is. Anyway, so it was easier to clip in. But that kick, you barely have to do much and it really just kind of pushes you along. There's different modes that you can use. Like there's an eco mode and a power mode and a assist off. And there's all these different modes that you can do. And then there's like this automatic mode. So I was just on the automatic while I was figuring it out. I was figuring out the shifting because all the shifting is very different from my last bike. The big thing that I noticed is, definitely noticed the motor working. But also, I noticed that, my turning radius is a little more stable. I'm on thicker tires. So I was on 28s before. I think they were 28s. And now I'm on 38s. So it's a thicker tire. So I'm a little more stable. And then the other thing is, because this is a gravel bike, not a road bike. I'm going from a road bike to a gravel bike. The other thing is I'm going from caliper brakes to disc brakes. So caliper brakes is you've got two brake pads and they just kind of pinch on the side of the wheel to get you to stop. Whereas disc brakes, it's in the entire disc on the center of the wheel. And that's much more controlled stop. With caliper brakes, it's a little more less sturdy, I'd say. And you really want to make sure you gradually stop. You don't want to do any quick stops. Whereas on those disc brakes, I can just stop or slow down really, really fast. And I am stable. Everything is good. So that was really neat to feel. So I did a little bike around. And then when we got back, I was yucky from traveling all day. So I went and I took a shower and Tech made some delicious egg fried rice, but with chicken. He made us some, very heavy on the chicken. It was lovely. So we had some nice quick dinner and we didn't go to bed till 2:30, 3 o'clock, something like that. And we had planned the next day we were going to Pride. A friend of ours, she had never been to Pride before. And, so we were excited to be able to show her and bring her to Pride. And we had a lovely time. It was so nice. So in Ottawa, Pride is in August, and it is celebrating or commemorating, rather, a march on Parliament to demand rights instead of what most Pride parades is we're kind of centered around the Stonewall riots. So this one is where it's a Canadian event that we're it's the anniversary of. So Pride is a lot later. Even Toronto Pride is done, I think, in June or July. I think it's June, and then but Ottawa's much later. So we picked up our friends so that we only had to find parking for one car. We actually found parking relatively close compared to previous, last year's. But then, we went to the parade. We walked around quite a bit while we were in the city yesterday, and the parade was just so lovely. It so much great representation. There were really wonderful people. We had kind of informally talked about like the Pride bingo card and what are we looking for our bingo card, and by the end of the day we had checked off all of them, which was wonderful. And one of the things that I love about Pride in Canada is how much representation you get and the different kinds of organizations that are marching in the parade. For instance, all the schools are marching. The Catholic School Board, they march, the various churches march, the United Churches, the Unitarian churches, some Presbyterian churches were there. I mean, you have I may not be those religions, but it's really nice to see that kind of representation where I don't think I would have ever seen that in New York. So it's just really nice to see that. And they were just really great organizations. I love learning about all the different things that are available in the city. My friend was taking pictures of all the different theater groups because she may want to join those. She's very interested in theater. And I love the different ways that they come up with for their floats and their organizations and handing things out. It was really cool. And then the drag queens were just amazing as always. There was a drag king. He was amazing. I mean, like everything was just so lovely. We had a good spot. We were in the shade of one of the buildings, so we weren't out in the sun, which was nice. And then after the parade, we went to the street fair. I bought quite a few things, and we just had a really lovely time. Our friend had to pick something up in the Byward, which is not that far. It's like a 7-minute drive away. So when we were done, we all got in the car and we headed over to the Byward. We went and did the bookstore thing that she needed to do, which was, she was actually picking up a book for Tech's birthday, and then gave it directly to him. Tech found a book that he likes, and I found a book that I like. Actually, it's a blank notebook. It's an Asterix and Obelix fountain pen friendly notebook, which I was so excited for. And it's Clairefontaine. It's my favorite paper, but I got a blank one so I can use it for ink drawing. So I'm very excited about that. And then we went for dinner at Zach's, and late lunch, early dinner, I don't know. We went to Zach's and had some milkshakes and burgers, and it was a lovely time. And then after we dropped off our friend, and we came home, it was still nice enough out that we're like, let's go for a bike ride. And so Tech had done a couple bike rides on my bike. I did the bike ride the night before. We hadn't charged the bike, and we just did everything, So it was down a little bit of a charge, but we went for a bike ride, and we did the big loop that we had planned, and the big farm loop that I'd never done this particular path with Tech before, and we were out like an hour, I think, and as I'm going, the hills were much easier, I'll tell you that much. It was really nice because I didn't have to slow down because of the hills. Well, this time Tech was in front because I could go really fast without much struggle. So we wanted to make sure he was in front so that, I didn't just bike away from him, sort of a thing. You always have the slower person in front. Well, there were some points on the flat roads or the downhills or whatever where Tech was going way faster than the top speed of my bike. So that was a thing. But I had it in eco mode for all of the flats, but then I put it in automatic for the hills. And I guess the hills are some pretty gnarly hills because it used up a lot of my battery. That and Tech is fast. Like, we would bike together, and then he would always go for a little bit longer where he could bike at his own speed. But he is really fast. He can just bike at 32 kilometers an hour like it's nothing. I think his top speed was like 38 yesterday. I did not quite make it up to that, but I just, I'll catch up because when he's slowing down, I've got that little motor assist, so that's fine. It was absolutely lovely. It was like we were watching the sunset over the field. The only downside is the bugs were so numerous. It was like driving through hail, we were feeling them. I swallowed way too many bugs. I got one caught in my throat for a little while. I got them up my nose. It was disgusting. It was really gross. But when I got home, like our faces, my neck was plastered with them. In the shower, I was using a fine tooth comb, just combing them out. And it was so gross. But it was a lot of fun. So we did a really good bike ride. But on the way back, about maybe 3 or 4 kilometers away from home, my battery died because I used a lot of it for those hills and keeping up with Tech. So we were thinking, do I need a second battery? And then we thought, we'll bike for a little while and we'll figure it out. Oh yeah, I need a second battery if I'm going to be keeping up with him, because as soon as the battery went, I'm now biking on a 40-pound bike, and it is not optimized for biking without the battery, and it was really hard. Now, I could get on a flat road. I could still get it up to 2022, which was really nice, but going up hills was really hard, and it was, so, I'm definitely an e-bike convert. I think that I actually think calling it an e-bike is wrong, because there are e-bikes that they do a lot more for you. I think this is more of a hybrid bike. I think I would call this a hybrid. So the hybrid bike I'm definitely a convert. And I think that it's nice because you can adjust the level of difficulty. And I think if you're starting to ride and you haven't ridden since you were a kid, it's a really nice way to go. The other thing is, as you get older, this is really beneficial. My neighbors next door, they're both retired, and they've got these upright cruiser e-bikes, and they love it. They go out biking all the time, but you can get them as dirt bikes. You can get them as commuter bikes. You can get the gravel bikes. You can get road bikes if you want to spend $12,000. No, I will buy a car for that. I'm not buying a bike that costs more than a car. But okay, maybe some cars, but you know what I mean, like a dependable car. But I'm definitely a convert. I think that this is the way to go for a lot of people. For me, it works really well because it just means that Tech and I can keep up. We can keep up with each other. So I am excited about this. And one of the things that Tech wants to do is he wants to take, one of the old frames, and we're still going to have a backup bike for me that doesn't have the e-bike component. So we're just going to take some pedals from one bike and throw it on the other. Got to get new pedals on the other one. My wheels are from last year, are still amazing. They're Hunt wheels. They're fantastic. So the wheels are really good. My old saddle is really good. So we can pretty much take all of these components and build a really nice bike out of a couple of old bikes. So we're going to still do that. I'm sure there'll be some races where I can't take an e-bike to, but it'll be nice to, it's a really nice addition having that e-bike. So that was our day. And then we got back, we were done by 8. And then, had to shower and get all the bugs out of me. And but we had a really nice time. We had a good dinner. We had, we watched some TV together. We were just kind of hanging out, and then it was bedtime, and I didn't do my podcast, but I don't care. I did it today. So hopefully we can get this up, and there'll be another podcast that comes out later in the evening. And at that point, I will talk to you all then. Bye. Nutty Bites is produced by Nimlas Studios under a Creative Commons Attribution No Commercial Non-Derivatives 3.0 International License. That means you can't change it without my permission. You can share it and send it to your friends. Just link back to me, my site, and everything. We live at nimlas.org, which has links to everything social media, including facebook.com/group/nuttybites and patreon.com/nukejoss, or call 347-NUTTY42.